Donna, can you hear me? Hello. Hi, Carrie. Can you hear me? Carrie, do you have volume? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Jodi?
Oh, yep, Donna, I got you.
Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if you can see. Okay, so we have three agents here now. Adam Lekowitz is here. Can you hear me?
Yep, so Adam.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Who else is there?
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. What was your
Janet Carosa.
Janet Carosa and Jacob Katzenstein, who just came in on Friday as a new agent.
Okay. So
Can you see?
I probably don't have Jacob on my list, right?
And it looks like Carrie Mayer. Oh, she can't hear anything. Carrie, you have to unmute yourself.
She should be able to hear. Okay. Carrie says, I can't hear anything.
No, I got it.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay, so do you need anything else from me, Jodi, right now?
I don't think so. Are you able to turn that computer around so they can see it?
So you can see them?
Them and so that they can see, because I'm going to be doing some screen share. Or am I up on a screen?
Well, yep, you're up on a large screen here.
Gotcha. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, a couple more. I have John and Mindy coming in. Hi, John.
Hi.
And Mindy.
I have a little bit better.
I just think I feel really good at being calm even when you probably do want to speak to someone. Yeah. Like to go through like all the things.
Good. Okay. Guys.
Like I feel really bad about that. I just want like to be happy.
All right. So who do I have in Donna's room? I have
Adam Lekowitz,
got him.
Yeah, that's me.
who's
Hi.
right here. That's Jacob.
Jacob.
Hey,
Janet Carosa.
Janet. All right. I am taking attendance, so bear with me here while I learn all of you. And I won't remember, so you'll have to help me next week too. Awesome. It is 9:01 and oh, there's somebody. Anne, okay, welcome. We'll give, we all work on realtor time, so we'll give everyone a couple more minutes here.
Oh, it looks like Ann Genovese is trying to get in.
Yep,
And
I just let her in.
Okay.
Hi, I think I'm in.
Awesome. There you are.
Hi. Steph is trying to get in also. I want to help her.
Stephanie Chapman is trying to get in.
Stephanie. Okay, I don't see her on my list yet. I'll let her in as soon as I see her pop up.
And it's the link in the first email. That's the one that.
Yes.
Oh, there I am.
Oh, there she is. Hi, good morning.
Hi, Ann.
I didn't fix myself. I didn't know people were going to see me.
All right. This is a safe space, right? I'll do a couple more minutes since I know this is kind of our first time and new to some people. So we'll give them a couple minutes here before we get started.
Notice to sign in on Zoom because like last night I was trying to install the Zoom and it asked me for a domain name.
While you're
You should-
waiting, if
it
you
should be
make
through your
sure you have
email.
something to write with and write on.
Personal one.
But you should be able to get the link.
You will be taking notes today.
How did you think you liked it?
Can this be done on the iPhone?
Then
For
we'll
some
let you in.
reason, Steph keeps getting Safari cannot open this page because address is invalid.
It can be done. You might have to be in Chrome. I'm not sure. I haven't had anybody have a problem with Safari. I can see you and hear you. So can you not see me?
No, not me. Stephanie Chapman is texting me. She's trying to get in and it keeps coming up with Safari page.
Jodi,
Yes.
I was going to ask you a question. Actually, Jacob said that he was trying to log in, who was here, but he was trying to log in on it, and he said he needed a domain name. So the link that you provided, he would just sign in, right? He doesn't need.
Yeah, it should just, when you click that link, it should just pop up.
Pop up Zoom. He doesn't have to register as a user.
No.
Okay.
It's really, it's a little different on a cell phone. That's why on a computer it's a little bit
okay.
more manageable.
Where are you waiting for?
Gary, can you have some background noise?
This will be awkward. Please not to anyone but yourself.
Sorry, that could have been me.
There you go. When there's noise, there's a yellow box, and I'm like, who has the yellow box? All right. Well, hopefully Stephanie can get in. Is she still struggling?
Hello?
Hello? Oh, that's Mindy. She must have answered her phone. Let me mute her so we don't hear her conversation. Let me just send a link to Stephanie directly real quick.
On her phone? Can you do it on her cell phone?
Well, I can do it on, I can send her an email or I can text her.
If you could text her, it'd be great.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my phone out here. Okay, let me find my link so that I can copy it and paste it. Okay. Copy. Okay, what is her phone number?
845.
I'm sorry?
845.
845.
652.
652.
0922.
0922.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Zoom for coaching. She'll be like, who is this? Okay, I have sent that. Let's see if we can get her in and then we will get started.
Okay.
And this morning we're going to have a few little housekeeping things before we get started, which I plan. That's why I do an hour and a half. So typically we'll have our review for the first half hour, and then we'll 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and then we'll dive into the content for you. Let's see if we can get her in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it on my own.
You guys good in the room with Donna's?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just trying to make your face on the big screen.
Trying to drag that one.
You want my face on the big screen?
Like instead of ours, so we can see if you're.
I get it. Yeah, because we want you to be able to see the
Oh, no.
screen. So take your time if you want to work it out. I mean, this is our first time, so y'all will be pros next week when we get rolling. And is Stephanie
That's
saying
not
anything to you?
No.
Okay.
See if Donna knows.
Yes, he's going to get Donna.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to change that.
So is she in the office?
Yeah. We just,
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay, there we go.
Are we live?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep watching for Stephanie and zip her in as soon as I see her pop up. It usually does a little ding dong, so I'll know. Just want to introduce myself to those of you. I haven't met any of you, I guess, so here we go. Talk to a couple of people. I'm Jodi Carpenter. I am with The Locker Room, and we are a coaching platform that we take into Keller Williams market centers. And it's a system for tracking, for accountability, and most of all for getting you into production really fast. So I've been an agent since 2004 and kind of transitioning out of the agent role into a full-time coach role, which is super exciting. And I've been a productivity coach with Keller Williams since 2016. Joined The Locker Room in 2017, and it changed my world as far as being able to increase our production and help agents like yourselves know your numbers, because we know that numbers tell a story, right? Even, well, they tell a good story or bad story, it just depends. It's just math. So we want to make sure that you understand where your business is so you can understand where to take it. I'm a division leader with The Locker Room, so I also coach brand new coaches, which has really been a fun thing for me. And that's kind of the short of it about me from 2004 to today. I didn't ever think that starting as an agent in 2004 that I would be sitting right here with you virtually in New York. So it's really been a fun transition and kind of a fun growth pattern. So just know that even though you're an agent now, there's so many opportunities within Keller Williams and within the real estate industry that you just never know from 2004 to 2019 where you might end up. So be open to those opportunities. And in the meantime, we're going to make sure that you kill this real estate thing to the level that you want to. We don't set your goals, you do. We just help you stay accountable to those goals and make sure that you reach those goals in the time that you say you want. So basically partnering with you on your business side. We will have, I will get you all connected. I wanted to see kind of who was going to be committed to doing this. And we have a Locker Room Nation Facebook page that I will be adding you all to. So you will be able to collaborate and kind of see what other agents around the country are doing within the Locker Room. So that's going to also be a great referral source for you if you don't know someone, let's say in Louisiana. There's a ton of agents in our Locker Room Nation in Louisiana, Florida, all these states. So you have really good referral connections. People who are like-minded like you, who are in coaching, and will take really good care of your referrals. And then also we'll have your own Hudson Valley Coaching Facebook page for just you guys. I'll be in there monitoring that. That's where I will communicate some things with you, put out maybe some weekly challenges so that you can, we have some fun in there. So everyone who's on, who's been in the business less than 1 year, just raise your hand. 2, 3. Okay, I don't see Danielle, so I can't see her. Mindy, I can't see. All right, 1 to 2 years. 2 or more. John, you're almost over that 2 year.
Yeah, I've been on and off for a long time. So
On and off for a long time. So what's
Yeah.
how long on this time?
About 15 months, 16
Okay,
months.
great, awesome. And then was it Carrie? No, Donna.
Yeah.
Who's else in the room with?
Janet Carosa.
Oh yeah, Janet.
I've been in the business since 2001.
Oh, great. So awesome. You beat me. Look at you. Awesome. I love it. And then let's see. Danielle's brand new. Started in June. Okay, look at that. So you guys, we have a really great cross section of brand new to experienced. And I love that, you know, that you are in here. And Anne, how long have you been in?
Just really a few months. Steph and I both became realtors the beginning of this year, I think February or March.
Oh, great. Look at that. Let me see. She says can't get in. Oh, that's sad. That's Stephanie right there. I can't really do a tech check from here. So
That's okay. I think it is recording, so.
it is. So I will send it to her. And it's recording for me too, because I like to kind of go back and see where maybe I can improve, or if there's questions that I missed or didn't maybe give a full answer to, then I can go back and revisit that. So that's why I record. How many of you are considering yourself full-time agents?
We are.
Okay. Dual career.
We have that too.
Right. Okay. So you notice I don't use the word part-time. If you have another job, you are not a part-time agent. You have 2 careers, because it's extremely difficult to do real estate part-time, right? You just have a little more, little less time to get a lot of stuff done in. So I appreciate you taking the time and being here. Awesome. Full-time, brand new, dual career. Awesome. I love it. So again, we have a really good cross section here of people. So as you know, we have the Monday morning and then we have Tuesday evening. Every week will be the same content. Of course, there's probably going to be different discussion because there's going to be different people in the room with us. So you can log on to both if you want. That's completely up to you. So if you're like, oh, I need another dose of this, hop on Tuesday night. Or if you can't make it on Monday, hop on Tuesday. Okay, so I want you guys to know that we have a little flexibility there. And I love that even though you're home, you guys are dialing in. So I appreciate that. That's a really good commitment of time for you. So I'm going to go over expectations so that we all understand kind of what's expected here. I would like you to commit to 80% of the sessions through the next 3 months that we're going to be rolling through this. Okay, 80%. I used to expect 100% because if I have to be here, you should be here. But then my coach said that's not really realistic. So you get 80%, okay? Yeah, I'm a little stickler. Being an area with no distractions, so I think we're good for everybody right now. Have a notebook to keep notes, because I do believe that when you handwrite notes, it solidifies into your brain. I would like you to have video on at all times. So those of you who don't have video on right now, not sure of your situation. However, I would like video on at all times. We will mute at certain times if there's background noise or anything like that. So do be prepared to have video on at all times for our next session. I will take attendance within the first 5 minutes, so hop on as quickly as possible. And then we're going to make sure that tracking and action items are completed. I am going to be tracking those because I will have a weekly appointment with Louise, your team leader. So I need to then make sure my numbers are correct so that I can share those with her. And the only way those are correct is if you guys track your information and your activities. So I will be running through how that works and getting you guys signed up for that. And like I said earlier, this is a safe place to ask any questions that you have. So I'm not going to just be talking at you. I want this to be interactive. So don't be afraid, raise your hand or jump in or whatever and ask a question. Okay, there is no stupid question. Usually the one you don't ask is the one that gets you in trouble. So ask questions, make sure that you are clear. If you need more clarification on something, make sure that you let me know, okay? I expect this to be a helpful situation for all of you. So I'll be asking for, hey, have you tried this? Or for some of you who've been in the business for a little bit, what's your best, kind of best practice that you found? So we're going to really collaborate here and make this an interactive experience for everybody. Believe me, when I do these, I learn just as much as you do. So I have my notebook over here. So if you ever may stop and go, oop, I need to write that down. So I learn a ton from you guys as well. Okay, so that's our expectations. Do those seem reasonable to you? Are you able to live up to those for me?
Yes.
Great, perfect. So the next thing we're going to do, one of the really cool things that we have with the locker room, and we just rolled this out about, gosh, it's maybe been 30 to 45 days ago, is our tracking system and our kind of one landing page dashboard for all of our agents and our coaches. So I'm going to screen share that with you. Just give me, where's my screen share? There we go. So I'm going to just run through that, and then I will also guide you to a location where you can actually watch a step-by-step video on that so that you can get a little more clarity when you're sitting down and getting those numbers put in there. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let me get on the right screen here. Okay, now I'm going to have to, need to move, there we go. Need to move that up there. All righty. Excuse me, allergies are really bad here right now, so I apologize. So this is what we call CORE, Center of Real Estate. And the login is just TLR for the locker room, core, CORE.com. Okay. So after our session today, I will be sending you an invitation to join this, and I will be adding you in.
Can you repeat the password again?
What was the login again?
Login.
Okay, there's no login and password just yet. It's just the URL is tlrcore.com. Okay. When I add you, you will create your own password. Okay. I will be using the email that I sent the emails out to you this past week. Okay, that will be your login as your email. And currently it is case sensitive. So I will be making it all lowercase. Okay. And then when you get the email to come into CORE, then you will set up your password. Okay. And I will send an email to you with those steps as well when I send out your invitation to join. So this is your home screen. Okay, right now I'm at all zeros, so I'm logged in as an agent in the Hudson Valley dashboard. Okay, so this is going to be your dashboard. we're going to track month to date, year to date, and lifetime. Okay. So clearly year to date and lifetime are going to be the same until we switch over to the new year. These are all the tracking categories that I'll run through with you. And then it's also going to do percentages, business from sellers, business from buyers. So if you say, wow, I really want to focus on listings, then we really focus here. What is this percentage doing? Okay. So this is how we coach you all through your business. We have conversion rates. So when I go on a listing appointment, how many listings do I actually take? Okay. When I go on a buyer appointment, how many buyer agency agreements do I take? Again, contacts to appointments. Again, some ratios, contacts to new business. And then we have some charts. So if you like numbers, if you like charts, however you see things visually, we've pretty much given it to you. So you can see all of that. Okay. So where do these numbers come from? These numbers are going to come from two places. So we're going to have your goal meter up here. This is the first thing you're going to do when you log in is click on goal meter. Okay. So, and then I'm going to go set goal. This is a monthly goal meter. And you're going to select your type. So there are 6, 7 categories for goals. So let's say total closings. You can pick a color. I don't care if they're all the same color. This is up to you. If you like blue, pick blue. If you like red, green, whatever. I like green, so I'm going with green. And then set your monthly goal. So let's say I would like, or once I take you guys through your action plan, we have determined based on your goal that you will have 2 closings a month. You save that. Now it's okay. So total closing goal is 2. Right now I have actual 0. So you'll just go in and set all those goals. Okay. Any questions? We tried to keep this real simple. Just point, click, done. Okay. We don't want to make this too complicated. Okay, next thing you're going to do is success tracker. So this is where you're going to track your numbers every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little tip. Put an alarm on your phone, set it up in your calendar to remind you to track your numbers at the end of the day. Okay, it's going to take you 5 minutes. So set an alarm in your phone, do a calendar reminder or something. You'll click on Success Tracker and you'll click Enter Data. Okay, and you will literally just go through and add the numbers. So the zeros are already there. And I don't want you to be afraid of the 0. Okay, we have to have a starting point. So if everything is 0, I still want you to track. Okay, because it's really fun once those zeros become numbers. Okay, and it tells us a story.
Excuse me, Jodi. Glennie is here, another agent for the training.
In the training? Okay, great. Glennie. All right. Perfect. So just put in your numbers, hit save. Super easy. We're talking about contacts, buyer business, seller business, and closed transactions. Okay. Make sense? All right. Any questions?
Yeah, Jodi.
Yes.
I thought Keller has a tracking system already in place.
Currently, they do
similar
not.
Type of information.
I'm sorry.
With this similar type of information, so I'm wondering if at one point we have to transition off of this and go into the current system Keller's using, and go on kind of going by memory here. I haven't logged on to that system.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. I know they had an Ignite tracker, which is a little bit different. So when I taught Ignite, we did have that Ignite tracker, but this is completely different. So unless I haven't seen anything new with Command at this point. So
are all agents using this, not just people that are part of coaching, or is it just
This is
coach.
just the locker room. So any market center that has agents in coaching and are using the locker room, then we are using the system.
Okay.
We're in about 102 offices, market centers right now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Okay, so next is our toolkit. So when you click on toolkit, there's different categories here. Okay. You just go through here. We have the 135, the 411, setting effective goals, FSBO. So this is really just another area with some information that our coaches have provided. So if you go into lead generation, buyer roadmap. So if you click on that, it'll just download. And this is what that one looks like. So it comes up in, what are we in, publisher? I can't tell. Yep, publisher. So if you have that, then you can then create this to be personalized to you. So there's a lot of stuff in here that you can play with. If you want to favorite it, you're like, oh, I love that, I'm going to use it all the time, then it will show up in your favorites over here. Okay, a fun little toolkit. This is to work in conjunction with other things like videos on Connect and other things on there on your KW Connect. So really working together and partnering with that. The last area that's super exciting for us is the Locker Room University. Okay. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to go to my dashboard. I'm already signed in. So when you get your, when you log into Core, then you'll click on Locker Room University and you'll need to set up an account. Okay. That password and everything is set by you. We don't see it, so write it down along with your million other passwords that you have to remember. But write it down because we can't get it. You would just have to reset password. And like I told you, there is a core orientation, so it kind of takes you through what I just took you through, only on your own time. So when you open something in the university, it'll have modules.
You should have received an email from your coach.
See, so that's what it is. It's just a video that comes on. And then the user manual is here as well. So you can print that out. Okay. So all sorts of resources here to make sure that you have what you need and are getting where you need to be. Okay. So that's just a quick overview of Core. And on my dashboard, when you do your tracking, it sends me a little notification that it's done. Okay, so then I can see on my dashboard, I can see everybody and I can see you individually. Okay, so those are the things that I'll be going over with Louise every week to make sure, see kind of where we're at, what our production's looking like as we move forward. Okay. We can review on your success tracker. This is something you'll do and have done prior to 9 a.m. on Monday, so you could do it Sunday evening if you want to, again, set a little alarm to remind you. And this is kind of just for you to kind of download for the next week. What I do last week, what do I want to focus on this week? What skills or habits or things I think that I want to improve on? What are you not doing that if you did it would make a big difference? And then anything else you think that I should know or your coach should know. And then I also get a notification and can look over that. So it's really a good way for you to kind of digest what I do last week, what am I doing this next week, and just keeping yourself on track. That's probably my favorite part of this because it really gives you some introspection time to figure out where you're at and where you want to be. Okay. You may not have questions now, and you may have some when you start getting in there. So my rule is that if you're working on something for 10 minutes and you can't figure it out, you need to contact me. You all have my email. My phone number is also on there. You can text me. But I have the 10-minute rule. If you are struggling for more than 10 minutes, you need to reach out to me, and if I can't help you, then I will put you in touch with the proper person, okay? 10 minutes. I set that rule because I had agents calling me crying, you're frustrated and mad and they're going to rip their computer apart. I'm like, oh, no, 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. You get 10 minutes to figure it out, and then you have to ask for help. So I know it gets hard to ask for help, but we're here to help. Okay, so any questions thus far? Okay, any ahas? Anything that you're like, oh,
Not yet.
not yet? Okay. Love it. Sorry, poor Stephanie can't get in. I feel bad.
No, it's okay. She's gonna hopefully come straight here, and she's gonna get on my computer with me.
Okay, perfect. All righty. So that was our little housekeeping stuff. Now we're going to get into buyer consultation. So how many of you have been on a buyer consultation yet? One. Okay. All right. I'm trying to watch my chat too, because some people are chatting with me there. Okay. Oh, there's one. Yep. Danielle's been on a few. Okay, great. All right. So what do we do to prepare for a buyer consultation? Now you have to remember that I understand that not every area of the country does everything exactly the same. So if I say something and you're like, oh no, we can't do that, let me know, okay? I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary because we do this with, you know, agents across the country. Or if you have something specific that you guys do, please let me know. I would love to learn that. Okay, so are you, and when you were in real estate school, did they encourage you to meet buyers in the office?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, meet them in the office. Why?
Because it's more professional.
More professional, love it. Safety, right? We have some safety issues. There's crazy people out there. Don't meet anyone at a vacant house alone. Even you guys, I'm telling you right now, there could be 2 or 3 of them trying to get, you know, get at you. So let's just be safe. It's professional. It's on your turf, right? And it makes you look like, hey, come to my office and we're going to have a consultation. Does it always work out that way?
No.
No.
Janet's like, no. Right? So best practice, yes, let's meet at the office. Reality, that's not always going to happen. Just do whatever you can to keep yourself safe and put yourself into a professional position, okay? And so what do you guys do for,
Does the same hold true for a seller? If you're meeting a seller?
I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes, I say yes.
Yes, right? Now here's the thing. I would love to have met my sellers in the office, but I'm going to be honest, most of the time I'm meeting them at their house. Why do I do that and not do that with, you know, why do I bring buyers in but not sellers, right? So yes, that would be best practice. Doesn't always happen that way because they want you to see their house. Right, so they think we have to meet here. So typically a seller, if you don't know them and you're feeling, you know, you're getting that gut feeling, just ask them to come into the office to meet with you before you go to their house. Always listen to what your, you know, what your brain and your body's telling you in those situations. Just want to make sure that we're all safe and working smart. So not necessarily all the time will that happen, but be prepared that if you're not familiar with them, either take someone with you, you know, you just have to be smart, okay? Pre-approvals. So are you guys getting your buyers pre-approved before you take them out showing houses?
We should be.
They should be.
Right? So why is that important?
Because otherwise you're wasting your time.
Wasting time, everyone's time, right? So how I kind of approach this with buyers, my script is, you know, it's really important that our first step is that you get with a lender or a banker or somebody that can tell you what your buying power is. I use the words buying power. I don't use what you can afford. Do you see the difference there? Buying power versus what you can afford?
Yeah.
I learned, that was just one thing that either I heard somewhere or throughout the 15 years, that I want to know what we need to know what your buying power is. Then they feel empowered, like, ooh, yeah, so do I. It gives it a more positive connotation that they have buying power. Because nothing's worse than showing someone a house that either they can't afford or that they're going to get discouraged because they could actually probably spend a little bit more. So that puts them in a position of power when you tell them we need to know what your buying power is. Okay. I possibly will do a consultation. Do you have an in-house lender at your office? Do you guys do that?
We don't have Keller Mortgage, but we have people, I mean, that work with us, that work with just the whole market center.
Okay.
And they have good reputations and.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with the lender, or you have someone, like we have lenders in our office? You could always, when you have your buyer come in for their consultation, have that lender just let the buyer know, hey, I'd like to have a lender here, answer your questions, see if they can, run some numbers for you, see what your buying power is. So you can kind of knock that out at the same time. And I typically leave the room when the lender's in there because I really don't need to know all their financial situation. I just kind of want to know, can they buy a house and at what price? So if you have a relationship with a few lenders, you can always, give them a list of lenders. I know for RESPA, we need to make sure we give them at least 3 options of people that we trust and have worked with to let, oh, Stephanie's in.
Oh, yay.
There we go. Okay. And so, get a list. If you're a new agent and you haven't worked with any lenders yet, ask your people like Janet, who do they use? Who do they know, love, and trust as a lender? So that I have a lender list. I think I have 4 on it right now. And how they stay on my list is their communication, their honesty, and their on-time closing record. So that's kind of how I determine who my lenders are. Okay. I've only had to take a couple off, but communication is huge to me. I don't want to have to be calling them every day or every week going, where are we at? Where are we at? I want them to proactively let me know, hey, appraisal's been ordered. Here we go. It's in, yada, yada. Okay. So making sure that you have, 3 to 4 on your list that you can share with a prospective buyer. And do you guys work with buyer agency? Do you have a buyer agency agreement?
Yes.
What do you call it?
Exclusive right to represent.
Great, I love it. Okay, so when I say buyer agency, I mean the exclusive right to represent. And so what is your state rule around getting that signed? Is it mandated? Is it?
Yeah, I believe you need to have it signed in order to obviously be entitled to the commission.
Okay.
So there's no confusion between you and the buyer that you're working with as to the representation that they have and that you'll be negotiating for them and so on.
Perfect, awesome. So that's the same here. So it gives you the right, and it kind of commits you to that buyer exclusively, and then commits that buyer to you and your brokerage exclusively. So I typically will do 1 freebie showing, not like 10 houses, maybe 1 or 2 without that signed. And then at that point, they need to decide if they're going to hire me.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. There's just a little bit of background noise. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Okay, let me see. There we go.
Oh, now it's gone.
Yeah, it was Stephanie. So I typically will do maybe one freebie showing. They
Right.
have to be pre-approved. I'm not going to go show houses without a pre-approval, period. I did that. You may do it sometime, but you're going to find out that it's, again, like Janet said, a waste of time. Okay, so then at that point, after I do that one freebie, then I will, we'll have the conversation. At this point, we need to decide if we're going to work together. And what that means is I want to commit my time to you exclusively, and you commit that you will use me as your exclusive agent to help you negotiate. I will represent you, all that good stuff.
Right.
So that means we sign this agreement, and that commits us to each other. So I do it both ways. I don't want them to just think that I'm trying to get them to commit to me. I am also committing now to them my time, my knowledge, my experience, my effort, right? So it's a two-way street. Okay, so that is really preparation, right? Getting a lot of that prepared. Now that has your office done the switch over from .loop to DocuSign?
We're in the process.
Okay, great, us too. So we're kind of in that kind of middle area between .loop and DocuSign at the moment. So whatever system you're using or have used or continuing to use, you can get all that prepared prior to your meeting too, if you're meeting in the office. Or you can have some packets already prepared. Okay. So we're prepared. We've gotten them pre-approved. Let's say we're sitting in there, and now we want to have the consultation. If they haven't signed the agency, we'll review that. And when I say review, I mean you need to learn that document, that form. Okay, because you're not going to just have someone sign something that you haven't gone over with them. Okay, if you send that before your consultation, you can still go over it with them, through PDF or on the phone or Zoom or whatever. Right?
Are you talking about the agency disclosure form?
The exclusive right to represent.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So make sure you go over that with them. Okay. Have you ever been told, hey, just sign here, and you were like, wait, I don't even know what I'm signing?
Right.
Yeah.
Same with our buyers and sellers. We need to make sure that they understand what they're signing. So you're going to gain confidence and competence by knowing your contract forms. Okay. I might have the nickname of Contract Nazi. So contracts are extremely important to me and the agents that I coach, that they're done accurately and completely. I sit on our forms committee for our board. And I'm telling you, that is the one thing through my coaching experience that has given the agents confidence and competence, knowing those forms. Because you can run a whole buyer consultation by going through those contract documents, which I'm going to get into next. So make sure you go through it, get them to sign it. You sign it, I think. Do you guys sign yours? And then make sure you give them a copy if you're doing hand signatures. Make sure you give them a copy. Okay, they're entitled to that. Okay, so at my consultation, what's probably the main thing we want to talk about?
What they're looking for.
What they're looking for, right. Okay, so have you ever had a buyer say they're looking for one thing and they went and looked and bought another thing? Yes, so we're going to need to ask really, really good questions, okay, of our buyer, making sure that we listen to them. Okay, so when they say, I want a big backyard, well, I know what a big backyard is, but I may need to scuba dive with them a little bit and get a little bit more specifics and clarity on what a big backyard means to them. So when they say, I want a big backyard, I'll say, well, what do you plan to do in the backyard? Well, we have big dogs. Oh, okay. So you're not going to be gardening in the backyard. No, not gardening. We need room for the dogs. Okay. When you say big dogs, how big are the dogs? So do you need a fence, or are you okay with a house that doesn't have a fence and you put a fence in? No, we really want a fence to already be there. So do you see how I'm just chunking it down so that I know what they're looking for? When they just say big backyard, I can imagine what they think because I know what a big backyard is. But I don't know, someone may want to garden. They have big dogs. They want to store a boat. Now we need access on the side, right? So you just never know when they say big backyard. Just scuba dive. So have you all heard of that? Don't snorkel with them, scuba dive. It's a Diana Kokoska saying that I learned at Coach's Skills Camp. So asking 2, 3, or 4 questions to get more clarity around what it is they actually mean by large backyard. Okay. Get their wants and needs, and it's always best to have them rank them. Like literally write them out and rank them from 1 to 5. 1 being we cannot live without this, and 5 being we'd be okay if we didn't have this, but we really like it. So what can you do with that list when you're out showing?
You can reiterate that that's what they asked for.
Right, right. So it's going to be a reminder for you and for them. So let's say they had a number 1 and it was a jacuzzi tub in the master bath that they could not live without. And you show a house and they're like, oh, we love this house. And you'll be like, okay, there's no jacuzzi tub in the master bath. That was a must-have, we can't live without. What about this house are you willing to accept to remove that from a number 1 spot? Make sense? So you're always guiding them. So really all we're doing as real estate agents is guiding our clients through the process. They trust us to guide them through that process and to help them. They may, fall in love with a house, and we kind of have to be the bad guy, the reality person, and say, but I know we shouldn't use but. However, you said XYZ, and this doesn't have that. So tell me what's making this house, what about the house is making you go ahead and take those off the list? Okay. So really just guiding them through that process. Any other ideas there? Any other scripting you can use with that? No? Okay, well think about it, because you'll come into the situation where they said they wanted a 1-level house and now they're looking at a 2-story, and you're like, what the what? Just ask questions, right? Ask questions. Maybe we didn't hear exactly what they said, or guess what? They changed their mind. Okay? You can always ask them. One of the best questions to ask your buyer client is, what's changed? Has anything changed? Well, yeah, guess what? We're pregnant now. Oh, shoot, that's going to change the whole scheme of things, right? Let me change where they're looking, what they're looking for. So if you feel something's a little off, always just ask, has anything changed? Yes, what has changed? Okay. We want to make sure we understand and we hear and we're very, clear on what it is the buyer's looking for. So that's going to take up a little bit of time at your consultation to really dive in and get a good understanding of what it is they're looking for. I had one buyer, they were online lead, and met with them, took him to look at a house, and he was, we're in a military area. I'm an ex-retired military wife, and he looked at me, he was a lieutenant colonel, and said, last time I bought a house, my agent showed me 70 houses. I was like, I said, okay, well, first of all, there are not 70 houses that match your criteria. And second of all, I'm better than that. And he just stood there. Like, there's no need to look at 70 houses. I said, we're going to look at probably 10 to 15, and then we're going to choose a house. Does that sound fair? He was like, sure. Okay. So you just have to know how to manage that. I honestly don't know. I mean, if you're showing 50 to 70 houses to someone, I don't even think we have that on inventory right now. What's your guys' inventory like right now? Are you high, low, stable?
A lot.
It's
There's a
up
lot
right
of
now.
inventory?
Yeah,
Okay, so are you guys trending towards a buyer's market?
I think so.
Okay, we'll have to look at some numbers. That'll be interesting. We are still so low inventory. So yeah, I mean, there's no way. So if you really dig in at your consultation and understand what it is that their needs are and their wants are, you will not be showing them 30, 40, 50 houses. Okay? Does that make sense, Janet?
Yes, it does.
Have you done the 30 houses and been like, what's going on? I mean, there were some people that I did before, and it's crazy.
That's for sure.
It will drive you insane. So make that consultation really, really work for you and your client. Okay? Because once you understand what that is, and then if something changes, you can then, do a little pivot, but understand what that is that they need. Okay? If they say they need 4 bedrooms, okay, you don't have any children, what are the other bedrooms for? Well, we need an office and, we're planning on having kids. Great. Okay, so what if it was 3 bedroom with a bonus room or something like that, right? So really dig in and ask questions. This is your chance to really shine as an agent because, again, they're looking at us to lead them and guide them. They're not the boss of us and telling us how to run our business. We're running it and showing them the houses that they said that they would be looking for. Okay? It's not like House Hunters on HGTV. So any of you are like, yeah, we're going to look at 3 houses and they're going to pick one. That would be awesome. And get it closed in 30 minutes and done, right? So, but really get in there and ask a lot of questions. So if you want, what I'd like you to do, one of your action items is put together a list of, maybe 2 or 3 questions and then 3 or 4 follow-on questions. So what question do I ask? What are you looking to house? We want a big backyard. So then 3 more questions to really get clarity around what does a big backyard mean to them? What does a 4th bedroom mean to them? What does a finished basement mean to them? Whatever you guys, whatever you're kind of looking at. But get a few questions in there to just kind of get your mind rolling into that question mode. The one who asks the most questions wins, not the one with the most answers. Okay.
So Jodi?
Yes, sir.
How are you dealing with people that they're not giving you criteria, but they're actually just going on to Zillow or Realtor.com and sending you a list of houses? I want to see these 15 houses.
Okay. So again, I would either sit down with them. If I've already had a consultation and they're doing that, I would sit down with them again and maybe pick a handful of those houses and go, okay, what about this house do you like? Is it the location, the school district, because I've had people send me a list and they're literally all over the board. So there's no continuity, there's no rhyme or reason. So I need to get more clarity. Again, I need to ask more questions. Okay. Another really good idea is when they send you a list, I ask them, have you driven by all of these? Because usually probably half of the list can be crossed off with a drive-by. Because we all know pictures and things look amazing on the internet. They're not always truthful. Okay, we have some really good real estate photographers out there, at least in our part of the world. And you have clients we walk into a house, I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look anything like it did online. Okay, so have them do a drive-by. If they're sending you a list like that, say, why don't you take the afternoon or evening drive by these and then let me know which ones stay on your list. because we don't need to be making appointments for all 15 of those houses, and we pull up in the driveway and they say, I don't want to see it. We've wasted the seller's time, our time, gas, right? Have them do the drive-bys. There's going to be a lot of things they can pull off that list. A lot of properties. Great question. Love it. Does that help?
Yes.
Good. Okay. That's the easiest way to get things knocked off a list. Yes.
What's a good way to break the ice and let potential buyers know that you're an agent
Ooh.
without being too pushy?
So you want to, are you letting people know you are an agent?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me? Okay.
And targeting specific people.
Ooh, targeting. Awesome. Anyone have any ideas around that? Remember, this is interactive. I do not have all the answers. Shocker. What are you guys doing to target buyers?
I'm making it known on my social media
Great.
pages that
Okay.
I'm at this company, I'm in this business, and that I'm excited about it.
Great. Social media can be huge.
Then
I have a few agents that's what they do is social media, where all their business comes from.
Right.
Have you been in the area long? Like, did you grow up there? Do you know a lot of people in the area?
Yeah.
Okay, Danielle says same, uses social media, word of mouth, family and friends. So that's what I'm trying to get at, your sphere. Who are the people that you know? Who knows you, loves you, or likes you? They don't have to love you. Know you, likes you, trust you. That you can really just have them help you grow your business. So going out and getting buyers. Open houses, do you guys do open houses there?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay. So as a new agent, if I were starting over as a brand new agent, I would do every open house every day that I could possibly do. And I would make it at least a 5-level open house.
A what?
A 5-level open house.
Which means what?
Which means you need to get in your, does anyone have the shift book?
Yes, it's at home.
Which book?
The shift book.
Shift. Gary Keller wrote it.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing. So I'm going to recommend you all get a copy of Shift. That was the first Keller Williams book I read when I was a RE/MAX agent. Changed my world. Let me look in our Locker Room University. And I believe, in Core in our, oh, sorry. Just started that again. Lead gen, let me see if it's in here. Okay, open house levels. I'm going to share this with you guys. Let me get back to my screen. Share. Okay, can you see that? So
Yeah.
this is straight out of the Shift book. Post 7th level open houses. In Shift, Gary Keller states, blah, 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 you can read. I'm not going to read it out loud to you. So a level 1 is you put a sign in the yard. A level 2 is a sign in the yard with riders or balloons or flags. I know a lot of areas don't like balloons anymore, so you can do flags, whatever. Sign in yard, yard with balloons and riders, and directional signs at the corners with balloons and riders. Right. So level 3 is about where most people stop, right? They have the directionals out, they have a sign in the yard, maybe with some balloons or something to get some attraction, flags. Okay, level 4 is adding flyers a week before, email invites, and post on websites. Websites through your MLS, does that automatically populate out to like Zillow and Realtor.com, your open houses?
Not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So that's really easy. In your database, email and invite everyone in your database. I don't care if they live in Kansas City, where I live. We want people to see you working, right? We want people to see you working so that they refer buyers to you and sellers to you. Don't discount your out-of-state people. I had a lot of my agents, they're like, well, I just moved here not too long ago. I don't know anybody. I said, great, market to all your friends in Texas. Well, what does that do? They're going to give you referrals. And when they think of real estate, they're going to think of you. And I had one agent who had so many referrals down to agents in Texas, he couldn't believe it. It was like, how come they don't know an agent already down there? I'm like, because they're trusting you as an agent to find them a great agent. Right? So don't be shy. Email everybody. Put it on your social media. That's one thing that's not on here. That book was written a little bit before. I don't know what year it was written, but social media wasn't a huge thing yet. So think social media as well. Okay. Level 5, invite the neighbors. 100 minimum. Go door knocking. Get those neighbors invited. Okay. I kind of flipped the script on this one with my agents. Instead of, I'm sure you've heard, hey, help, pick your neighbor. Yeah, that's okay. But really what I'm doing, open houses, are buyers going to organically walk in? Right? I'm going to stop sharing real quick. Buyers are going to organically walk in, right? They're going to see the signs, they're out looking, their agent sent them something. Buyers are going to organically walk in. It's kind of what open houses are for. So when you're doing an open house, how about if you prospect for sellers? How about you prospect for listings? So instead of, when you knock on the door and you say, hey, I'm just inviting you to our open house down at 123 Main Street, would love for you to come by. Could you do me a favor? They're going to be like, do you a favor? Yes. I'd love for you to stop by, and I'd like for you to compare your house to the house I'm sitting at and let me know how it compares. Because the nosy neighbors want to do that. You've just given them permission to do it, right? So they're going to come in and be like, oh, yeah, our house is much better than this. We have granite. We have we've repainted. We've remodeled. Great. Have you ever thought about selling your house? And then just be quiet. Then you say, yes, Ann.
So we can do this whether it's our house or like Steph and I will do open houses for other people. So we can do it in that aspect also, not just if it's our own home. Okay.
Correct. Yep. My experience is most of the listing agents are not door knocking and asking for business. Some are. I'm not going to say all. Most are not. So get out there and just say, hey, I'd love to get your information. I'll let you know how many people looked at this house, and when the agent who has it listed gets offers, I'll let you know how many offers they received. So if you're getting multiple offers, or even if they got 2 offers, you can say, hey, there's another buyer out there who wants this neighborhood. Meralda, I agree with open houses. That's how I started to build my business, Shadow Seasoned Agents Open House. Yeah. So open house, like I said, if I was a brand new agent, that is where I would be starting. I would get with agents in the office and say, hey, I'd love to either shadow or tell them, hey, I've shadowed 2 other agents and I intend to do a level 5 open house. Okay. When you tell them this is what you're going to do, or hey, kick it up a notch, do a level 6, do a level 7, right? But let your agents know that who have listings that you're available to sit open house and that you intend to do a level 5 open house. You will find this in your in core under lead gen. You can print this out and have it with you. Okay. Level 5 open house. I have several agents that are doing this. that has started it and are just nailing, I mean, just killing the open house. I have one, she baked cookies, and she would do 4 a weekend. 4 open houses a weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, for an hour and a half each one. And she would have people follow her. Like literally she's leaving one, going to the next one, they're following her. And they see her every weekend, different houses. I mean, it's just, she was in a certain price range. So determine how purposeful you're going to be with your open house. That's a great way to find buyers. What price range do you want to focus on? Okay. Find open houses in that. Find open houses that are on main thoroughfares or at least 1 or 2 turns at the most. So finding buyers, that's a great way to find buyers and sellers. When you're outdoor knocking, prospect for sellers. Don't tell them to send their friends who want to live in the neighborhood. They're going to do that. Ask them to do you a favor, come to the house and compare their house to this house. And then when they say, oh, ours is so much better, da, 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 great, have you thought about selling your house? So be ready to mini interview at your open house for that listing. At least planting that seed. They'll be like, we haven't thought about it, but if this one's listed at this price, man, we could probably get more. You're going to get their wheels turning, right? And which is less time commitment, buyers or sellers? Which one's less time commitment, buyers or sellers? Say sellers, that's the right answer. Sellers, because you're not driving them all around creation, right? In the MREA, leads, listings, leverage. That's the triangle. Leads, listings, leverage. Doesn't say anything about buyers. However, with your listings, you're going to get buyers, right? So if you don't have a listing right now, find some open houses. If you have not shadowed an agent at an open house, ask around the office and see who's doing open house at a high level.
What would you say to a buyer's agent who can't take listings because they have to give it to their team? Because that's basically, you're missing one of the 3 L's. Right.
Do you, as a buyer's agent, if you refer a listing, do you get anything?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would go out there and prospect for listings because you're going to get something out of it.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
What are the 3
And
L's?
they may turn you into a listing agent. If you're bringing a lot of agents, there's a lot of listings in. Yeah. Was there another question? Sorry.
The red book? Oh, exactly.
Great question. Good question, you guys. I love it. Yes.
Any other way to target sellers besides for knocking on their door? Or inviting them to open houses? Is there a way to look up their numbers or?
There are all sorts of systems out there that'll give you like FSBOs, expireds, phone numbers, things like that. It's just, you know, depending on how much you want to spend. When you're new, I call it guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You're going to spend more time prospecting, which doesn't cost a lot, except for time. So in real estate, you have time or money, right? Time or money. You have to figure out which one you're going to spend. Sometimes you have to spend both, not always. When you're new, I always say spend your time wisely. Okay, if you don't have cash, if you don't have revenue, profit right now, use your time as your commodity. That's going to be out knocking doors, doing open houses. I mean, there are so many systems out there you can pay for that says they'll target sellers. My experience is just put in the work. And then once you're profitable, then you can start paying for those things. But that's up to you. I mean, if you're in a position to be able to pay for some of those, then ask around in your market center to see what systems people are using. I don't know that I answered your question specifically. Did I?
Yeah.
As you can tell, I don't spend money on anything that I don't have to. If I can spend time on it and I know that all money will come, then that's where I'll spend.
Yeah. Right.
So going back to your consultation, you have the buyer, you're sitting in there. Again, I'm really, really strong and serious about using your exclusive right to represent and going through that with them, and then also going through a blank contract. So the buyer knows what they would be signing. So you can just hit the highlights, go through that. I literally cannot read a contract right side up. I have to look at it upside down, like read it like I'm reading it to a buyer. I turn it this way and I'm like, weird. So after amount of time, you can have it. I would have a hard copy, and then just go through it with them. You know,
Like an actual purchase contract?
Actual purchase contract, so that they're familiar with it before they see it and are emotionally attached, right? Let's keep them in logic. Let's have them look through that. You explain it. You'll have to explain it again, but at least they have an idea of what's in it, what they can expect, so it's not a shock when you like, how long is your purchase contract? How many pages? Anyone know?
What was the question?
How many pages is your purchase contract?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Ours is 16 pages.
To purchase?
Yes, it's ridiculous. So, yeah. So I go over that with them, 16 pages, so that they have some clue what the heck's in there before we have to sit down and actually write it up. So that's just another way and that's really going to set you apart from other agents. I've had agents in coaching that said, in my consultation, I just went over that with the buyer, and they said they'd met with another agent, and that agent never even showed it to them. So that's just one more step to show that you're a professional and you want them to understand the process. Because again, we're just here walking them through the process, but we can't expect them to know, even if they've bought houses before, if they've never bought with me, I go through the same process. And you may get those, I don't need to know that, I don't need to know that. And I tell them, well, I need to know that I did this. So you can not listen or play on your phone or whatever, but I'm still going to go through it. Because I want to know that I've done it with every single one of my buyers, right? It's my routine. It's how I run my business. And it's how I know that I did what I know I'm supposed to do for my business. So does that make sense? And it shows, I mean, it makes you look like a very, very good professional, that you know your stuff. You're not just going to push over, you know, a packet of papers and say, sign here. Okay. And seller's disclosure. You guys have those there? Where the seller has to write things they know about the house and yada, yada?
Yes.
Okay. So I also go over that with my buyer, a blank one, just so they're familiar with it. So they can see in that what they'll be looking for when we have a real one to look at. Okay. Do you guys use home warranties?
Sometimes.
Okay. But you have home warranty companies in your area?
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is also talk to them about how home warranties work. Right now, it is our kind of our trend for the buyer to ask for a home warranty in the contract for the seller to pay. Also, you want to just make sure they understand the showing process So whatever your style of showing is, if you drive together or you know, ride together, if they follow you, you know, so just kind of go through that whole showing process with them. That when you make you know, you request an appointment, that you have to wait for it to be approved. Do you guys have a showing service, or do you have to call each individual agent?
We have a showing service.
Oh, good. Doesn't that make life so much easier?
Yes.
Janet, were you an agent when there was no showing service?
Yes.
Yes. How fun is that? Especially if you're showing 15 or 20 houses and then you have them all lined up and then you're like, oh, this one can't do that time. Dang, now I have to oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. So you're lucky you have a showing service.
But they use it. Not all of them use it. But
Oh, really? Oh, that gets a little complicated. Anyway, go over with your buyer that process of showing houses, looking at houses. Okay. Like I set up my showings, I usually do 2 in 30 minutes. I kind of overlap, I have a weird system, but I just let them know that, hey, you know, if we love a house, we still have more to see. We can always go back and do a second showing on that house. Okay, so we're not spending an hour in one and I'm late for all the others. Okay. So whatever you're showing, however your system runs, and how you show, if you don't know that, again, reach out to the agents in your office. The one thing about Keller Williams that I love is that everyone is so willing to share. They're so open. Hey, what is when you go out showing a buyer, what does it look like? Right? So ask people, ALC members, they're there to help you and give you, you know, great information. Okay, so do any of you have a buyer packet that you have already put together?
No.
No. Okay, so guess what's going to be your action item for next week, or for to do this week? We're going to get 5 buyer packets put together. And you can just use, like, I don't know if your office sells like just the Keller Williams, you know, folders, 2-pocket, whatever.
And in the buyer packet, you mean what we're going to bring to our consultation?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to walk through that. So you're going to have a copy of the exclusive right to represent, right? Preferably kind of filled in with their info as much as possible. A purchase contract, blank, a blank seller's disclosure, and if you have warranty companies that you like, I usually put 2 or 3 in there so that they can review those.
Called a warranty company?
A home warranty. I don't know if you guys have like Old Republic, First American, 210. Not sure what's all up there. Lender info. So if you have a list of lenders, 3 minimum, which you may have already sent that before the consultation, but it's also nice to have in there for you. And then home inspectors. Do you guys do general home inspections?
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
yes.
Okay. So you have home inspectors. Do you guys have any properties that have like septic or anything like that?
Yes.
Out of sewer? Okay.
What
So
about
just
lawyers?
explain, you know, go
Would you
through
give
the
them a list of
inspection
lawyers?
process. I'm sorry,
Would
go
you
ahead.
Would you give them a list of lawyers?
So you guys close at lawyers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not title companies. You can, you know, 2 or 3 that you've worked with that you want, you know, that they can work with. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm not in New York State, the agent cannot write the actual contract. The lawyer has to write it.
That's right.
So are you in a state where the realtor can write the contract?
We have to write the contract.
Okay.
Oh, so that's why yours is 16
Okay.
pages.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever your kind of your
So I don't
yeah,
think, I'm not sure
whatever
if we
you
have.
write up to send to the attorney.
Okay,
Yeah, just so that they can see that. And then your attorney writes that up, right?
right.
Well, that's nice. And do they negotiate too, or do you guys negotiate?
We negotiate.
Okay. So anything in there that you think that would be helpful for a buyer to see up front, to have up front, and then I just literally go through those packets, and that's how I know what I need to talk about. Right? So I keep it real simple for myself here. Now we're going to talk about home warranty. Now we're going to talk about, you know, here's what a seller's disclosure looks like. Just want you to be familiar with it. I tell them to read through it, circle, highlight. Well, what does this actually mean? Right? I look at myself as an educator as well to my clients. I'm educating them on the process, on how this works. So since you guys have attorneys write your contracts, make sure, you know, if they've never purchased a house before, let them know that process. So you may have in your buyer packet kind of, you know, a timeline of this is what happens here, then this, then this, then this, so that they're familiar with that process. So I think on one of these, we had, okay. So having those packets available, especially when you're sitting open house, right? Because if a buyer does walk in and they're not represented, you can have a conversation with them. You can say, hey, I have a packet that I can sit down and talk to you about. Would, you know, tomorrow at 2 or Wednesday at 5 work better?
Wait, are you saying you could basically give the consultation to a buyer that walks in unrepresented? You could do it right there, or set up a time to do it.
If they have time and you have time and there's not a lot of people coming in, you could certainly do it right there. I've had a couple agents get buyer agency signed at open house.
Wow.
Doesn't happen often, but I'd be prepared for it to happen.
Right.
Right. Yep. So action items, prepare 5 buyer packets. And I've just given you a few ideas of what to put in there. If there's more or less, or whatever you want to do. I'm not right. I just know what works for me. Okay. And then the next thing I'd like you to do is find somebody in the office to do a partner role play on a buyer consultation this week. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to sound right. And I'd rather you practice on each other than on a real live client. Right? Because remember, this is a safe space. We want to help each other. Okay. Are you all in Command? Have you all logged into Command and know how to get into Command?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to, one of your action items is to put 25 contacts in Command this week.
I'm not set up yet, so.
Okay, yeah, because you're just new, but as soon as you're set up, get 25 in there. And that'll give you something to track this week, right, on your core tracking.
Yes.
So you won't have all zeros because you're putting people in your database.
So are these three assignments, are we putting those in core as well?
No, you'll just be adding contacts. Will be the one the for sure one you'll put in there.
Right.
The other activities are not. I'll just when we start next week, I will ask about them.
Okay. Okay.
And then complete the success tracker every day, and your week in review by Monday at 9.
Complete what?
The week in review in core. So your week in review is going to be in Success Tracker, and then we can review. Fill that out.
And when do we complete that by?
By Monday at 9 a.m. So you could do it Sunday night. So what I am going to do is set you all up on Core, and you'll get the invitation email. Okay. I'll have that done by business, end of business today, which is 5 o'clock Central my time. Okay. So we have 3 more minutes here. I am going to always end our session with asking for 3 ahas, something you learned, something you think differently on now, something that made you think, period. I need 3 of them. Who's going?
I'll go.
Okay.
So when you said that you like to use the term buying power,
Yeah, that was a good
I never thought of wording things that way, and I could see the advantages of doing that. Also, when you said that you like when you have the conversation after doing maybe 1 or 2 showings, that you would like to discuss the exclusive representation form, and that you explain how it's not just a commitment of them to you, it's also you committing yourself to them, which I think could also be a really big advantage.
Perfect. I love it. Words matter, right?
I have
Yeah.
one also.
Uh-huh.
I did not know about the 5-tier open houses.
There you go.
And I thought that was really interesting. So I'm going to talk to Anne about that.
Yeah, I like
Because I
that.
think that'd be something really good for us to do. And I think I'm going to also buy that book, Shift.
Yeah, Shift. Everyone, your market center may even have it for you to buy there. I know our market centers keep inventory of some of those books.
Okay. Something we could check out.
Yeah, you may be able to just go up there and say, hey, I want to buy this book.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Awesome. Great, Stephanie. Thank you. Good stuff. Anne.
I also love the idea of having the folder all
Great.
prepared. I love organization.
Anne is very into, Anne's the organization girl.
I think that's such a brilliant idea, and we don't have to use the Keller Williams, right? As long as it's a nice presentation folder that we can just put everything in, and we have it all set for each of our people. That's awesome, and it keeps it so proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it keeps you on track, right? Because you know what's in there, and you just go next, next, next.
Yeah, I love that. My question, though, regarding that, you said that we should have 2 to 3 recommendations for different people we're recommending. Should we have their business cards, or is it okay if we just write it out on a piece of paper for them?
I typically just do a Word doc, and then I put all their name, their company, their phone number, their email, their website.
Perfect. That's a great
That's how
idea.
I do, like at the top of my lenders, I do trusted lenders, and you can do, trusted lawyers or whatever.
We can make a nice doc. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Carrie, did you have something?
Me?
No. Somebody.
Yes,
It's me.
Okay, go ahead.
When you mentioned about the go through the purchase a contract with the buyer, because the first time I did a deal with my buyer, a agent told me that I don't have to be present when they are signing the buyer. So I feel so bad that I never went through all that with them. So now I will practice that with my buyers, which is really good. It sets you up. Thank you.
Just go over it with them up front. It's going to be crazy when they find a house and they're all under emotional craziness. So yeah, just at least they've seen it, right? Great. I love that. Anyone else? Good stuff. So was this a good value for your time today?
Yeah.
This was great.
Yes.
Definitely.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. How did the flow work? Did the flow work good for you guys?
Yes.
Yes. Once I got in, yes.
I know. I'm so sorry. And I did record it, so I will send it to you.
Terrific.
Again,
Thank you so much.
yeah, I'm going to add you guys to some Facebook groups, so make sure you accept those invitations so that we can have good communication.
Excellent.
Trying to think, all my notes, I think I went through my agenda. Again, if you have any questions or, you know, or you're thinking about something, feel free to email me, even text me, you guys. It's super cool. I'm just so honored to have this time with you and that you share your time with me. It's just really a neat feeling to be able to help other agents around the country, and it's really nice. So I appreciate you guys putting your time in here. And I'm here for you. We are all working together as a team with your Market Center leadership, and we're super excited to be able to bring this to you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. Have a great rest of your week. And if you want to
You
pop
too.
on tomorrow night, I'll see you then.
Terrific.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next week.
Take care.
Yeah, I just.